Hey, stop before you consider doing any kind of business with a quote-unquote debt settlement company or debt consolidation company or a debt resolution company. You know, they'll represent themselves in 3 different ways. But today's debt settlement companies is not a good idea. You certainly want to get an unbiased opinion on this that'll walk you through this process before making that decision. But I will tell you this, in very, very slim cases would this process make any sense. What we're going to do is we're going to break that down into the video. And if you are currently in a debt settlement program, I want you to get with me. It might not be too late to find a quicker solution or save you tons of money to get out of this. But just stay to the end on this because there's a lot of important details that you need to know. Listen, the whole reason we got into a debt settlement company in the first place is because you were kind of overwhelmed with some either bad debt or current debt. And in most cases, debt settlement companies are going to talk to you about your unsecured debt, like credit card debts, signature loans, things like that. Rarely are they involving a secured loan like a house or a car, and you certainly wouldn't want to include that anyways if they did. So in most of this conversation, again, is going to be talking about revolving accounts like credit cards, unsecured debt. In other words, there's no collateral tied to it. Now, why do they insist that it's only unsecured debt? Because what they're going to ask you to do is to stop paying it. So what does that mean? That means if the accounts go, that you're going to let them go behind, which is going to report that way onto your credit until the account charges off. Now, some folks, these accounts have already charged off when they came into the debt settlement program. Either way, still not a good idea in doing this method. Look, here's the thing. You are, again, letting this stuff charged off. And then what they're asking you to do is they'll say, well, we have a trust account and you're going to put X amount of dollars into this trust account each month. Fair enough. It being a trust account, they can only draw out of it within the agreement that you guys make. And this is the part that gets scary. As they build up the money into the trust account, they then fulfill the settlement on each debt. And as you continue to build it, they continue to settle. Here's the issue with this. They will pre-negotiate this in the very first stages of this program. In pre-negotiating this, they'll come back to you and say, hey, good news, we were able to negotiate this debt at 50 cents on the dollar. Okay, great. My grandma could do that. You know, so, and then they're going to turn around and charge you between 15 and 25% commission or settlement fee in addition to what they settled on top of. So really at the end of the day, maybe they only settle it for 20-25% because the difference you're paying them in their commission. And by the way, that commission has to be covered first and pays them first before they fulfill the settlement. Okay, so again, just that alone is not a good idea. Because of this, it ends up taking a long time to complete this program. Problem number 2 is they end up settling debt that they probably shouldn't settle. Remember, if we're trying to recover credit-wise, you know, at first it's just such a storm, you want to get out of it. But guys, listen, at the end of the day, we want to get this storm behind us. We want to recover our credit as quickly as possible. Well, they end up settling debt that they probably should not settle, especially if you live in states like Texas, which is a non-garnishment wage state. The chances of getting sued is very slim, but in any state, that is still slim, and even then there's ways to overcome that and better solutions. Okay, so we're settling debt that we probably should not settle, or they're making payment arrangement dates on debt that is actually hurting your credit score most. If you follow my videos, you'll certainly see why. 1, causes the old debt to move back to the front once it's settled or paid off. 2, if you go into a payment arrangement, if that's mixed into their settlement agreement as opposed to settling in one chunk, that keeps that debt in the front each and every month, keeping your credit score tanked through this whole 3 to 5 year process. All right? So high commissions for something you could do very easily yourself, and then just keeping your credit tanked along the way, even making it worse because you're settling debt that you probably shouldn't settle anyway. You can almost just put it into your past. Now, there's a better way to do this. For one, in many cases, your local credit unions, there is programs out there that can give you a whole consolidation loan to just pay all that debt off in one chunk, and now you're paying one payment to this new loan. This makes a lot of sense if you can find a source that'll do this for you. Or maybe there's some equity in your house that you can tap in to do this. So there's some better ways. Worst case scenario, we do have an alternative that we call a debt settlement alternative. And it's exactly that. That's when we mix in strategically settling the debts that need to be settled and using credit repair for the rest and recovering a program. So with most of our clients, and again, I would take the debt consolidation alternative above that, but in the instances where you had to choose, this is a far better alternative, because our clients that unfortunately have had to go this route, we're able to get them through the program within a year as opposed to 3 to 5 years, and they end up settling about 25% of the overall debt as opposed to paying out 75% of it in 3 to 5 years, and their credit's totally smoked by the time they're through the program. So just keep that in mind. If you have questions on this, I will help you to, please call. I'll help you discern through it to where it makes a lot of sense to you specifically. If you are currently in one of those programs, I want you to call us. Let's look at this thing together. I'll be able to show you behind the back scenes of what this is in fact costing you, and a better alternative that's gonna save you a ton of money at the end of the day, and it's gonna get you recovered and through the program months and years sooner. Hope that blesses you.